Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. I'm ELD, and we've got Brendan on Maverick versus Tyler on Death and Taxes, part of our monthly Legacy Open series. Every month, the ELD Legacy Open gives away 100% of the entry fees as credit and has some really amazing other prizes, things like custom leather playmats, limited edition pins that you can only get here at the shop. And Tyler opening up with Plains into Aether Vial, classic Death and Taxes fare. Much better versus the blue decks, as it will make all of the effects uncounterable. We'll see how this works out for Tyler versus Brendan. I mean, Aether Vial, a fine card in most matchups, as it leaves your mana available to do other things like activate Rashad and Port. Swords to Plowshares, their guys. And a fetch land into Birds of Paradise. We'll see if Tyler follows the old adage, bolt the bird. Will he eliminate this mana ramp? He does. Swords to Plowshares, getting that bird out of there before he can help the cause too much. Wasteland for Brendan can take out this Rashad Port. Stop it from being too much of a nuisance. But first, going to get a Thalia down. Vial ticking up to 2. And Swords to Plowshares taking out the Thalia during the upkeep. Interesting timing. With so much life, may have been tempting to just go ahead and take the damage, and then it's possible that Brendan wouldn't even swing into a Violet too, fearing something like Atomic. Now we've got Wasteland taking out Rashad Port, Stoneforge Mystic coming down, getting Umezawa's Jite. A couple of lands already in the graveyard for this Elvish Reclaimer. Ticking up to 3. And Tyler actually stuck on 1 mana. Yet another Wasteland for Brendan, in case Tyler does draw one of the many non-basics in Death and Taxes, despite being a mono white deck. It's running Rashad Ports, Wasteland, Karakas. Aether Vial ticking up to 4. What does Tyler have in this list at 4 mana? Mirran Crusader swinging. And Crusader will be an absolute house once he gets damage on him. We've got a quasi-crop rotation happening. Oh, and it's Palace Jailer. He's got the Palace Jailer. Getting a Tundra, or a Scrub, sorry, a Savannah, an additional Savannah. Interesting. Palace Jailer, going to be able to take out whatever threat Brendan may commit to the board. Another Elvish Reclaimer. And I'm a little surprised, ramping up to 4 there. Tyler could have used that Palace Jailer to get an extra card into his hand. Really slow playing this Monarch situation. He may have to play a little bit back on his heels. Mirran Crusader likely not going to swing now. And we may have a black splash. There are some interesting sideboard cards available for Death and Taxes when you venture out of white. But this looks like it's going to be one of those devastating games where your mana base really punishes you. Sending for 3 damage here. That black-white sack land from Modern Horizons. Silent Clearing, maybe? Not often played. And now a Swords to Plowshares taking down this Mirren Crusader. Brendan can potentially become the Monarch here. And Knight of Autumn, I believe that's the one that destroys artifacts. This could really turn this game around. Oh, Aether Vial being taken out instead of the Phyrexian Revoker. And it's either let Brendan become the Monarch or chump block with the Revoker. He does that. But Brendan's still allowing Tyler to get this extra card during the end step. I think I would be much more concerned about becoming the Monarch, getting that extra card, getting my creature back. Both players actually really kind of slow playing this Monarch status. And sending with both. And now a Batterskull's just... oh, brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. So... Batterskull's coming down, absolutely wrecking this party. And now Knight of the Reliquary. Now that Tyler has 3 mana, he can actually respond to any type of disenchant effect that may find its way toward this Batterskull, but he may just be clear sailing from here. This Knight of the Reliquary not likely going to be enough to contend with this 4/4 Batterskull. Even though Knight's much bigger, Tyler can be untapping or returning the Knight. And Brendan's got a little bit of a decision to make. He can use this Knight of the Reliquary to really go after Tyler's mana base, but both of the lands can be sacked in response. Mother of Runes, Sylvan Safekeeper, and Brendan getting a whole bunch of protection for his side of the board with just 2 mana. A couple of 1-drops, very defensive posture. But I believe we've got an Umezawa's Jitte still in hand for Tyler. Wasteland going after Tyler's Wasteland. Brendan not looking to be set back on mana. Sword of Fire and Ice. Not actually equipped to anything. They're going to clarify that. Going to have to sink 2 more mana into that if he wants it to make a difference. And really complicated board state now with these Mother of Runes. They can force an attack to actually get by anybody's defenses, giving it protection from the appropriate color. Though there can be like a chump block in between there. You can give it pro black to get past the germ, but then he can potentially block with the Mother of Runes or the Stoneforge Mystic. We've got some Voltron action happening over here. Sword of Fire and Ice going on this germ, who is now a 6/6. Started as a 0-0. He is just picking up all the abilities here. Lifelink, Vigilance, Pro Red, Pro Blue. And whenever he deals combat damage to a player, Tyler going to be drawing a card. Though as the Monarch, I think he's pretty chill here. As long as he doesn't get hit, he's just going to outdraw Brendan 2-1. Fetching a basic forest. Knight of the Reliquary. Looking to pump itself up. Oh, interesting. So, Mother of Runes apparently giving this germ protection, and now the other Mother of Runes blocking. Sajiri Step. Also being used to protect it. A Wasteland adds to Brendan's side of the board. And he is hellbent here, facing down an awful lot of resources from Tyler, only looking to get worse. From a tournament management perspective, this may actually be time for Brendan to scoop. His deck not exactly built for speed. They're approaching the 25-minute mark in the match, and Brendan's going to need to win 2 matches from here. Knight of the Reliquary, quite large. Imperial Recruiter, Recruiter of the Guard. He's going to search up. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a Mother of Runes with the way that these players are both focused on the board. And he's going to grab a Walking Ballista. That's actually a solid answer here. This is colorless. And it'll essentially get rid of the Sylvan Safekeeper and a land. If he tries to target the Mother of Runes, more than likely Brendan going to just use a land. Oh, actually, no, it's just going to get rid of lands, right? Yeah, he needs this Walking Ballista to be pretty beefy. We got Pro Black blocking. And now Athalia. Birds of Paradise. Kind of an additional chump blocker in on the mix here. And again, this feels like a certainty for Tyler. Gotta check and make sure he's been drawing a card at the end of each turn. We've got a Walking Ballista at 3. 6 mana spell. And we've got a crop rotation effect from this Knight of the Reliquary, who's quite large, but again, not likely gonna get the job done. Oh, unless yes, Thespian Stage in here. All right, interesting. So Brendan's been hanging on, trying to find a way, and it looks like Knight of the Reliquary is going to pull together a trying to follow the action here. I thought that would have been during his end step. He can make a 20-20. He can actually pull this together. Like end step, search out, and then untap, do it again. That would get past Tyler's Wasteland. I am not following the lines here. I feel like Brendan actually had the tools available to one-shot Tyler. He had the Sylvan online. Mother of Runes is getting put down as well. Okay, so this was all during Tyler's end step. He used the Thespian Sage to make a copy of an unclear land. Oh, this is wild. This is a wild game. Tyler draws a Wasteland here. Or, there we go, Caracas. So, ideally, this Thespian Stage is actually copying Plains, which would make it immune to opposing Wastelands. On the other side of the board here, we now have a Caracas, which is going to provide protection from a 20-20 Merit Lage. Walking Ballista, taking down the Birds of Paradise. Knight of the Reliquary, the last thing standing. Recruiter of the Guard, grabbing Phyrexian Revoker. Another land, and I think Tyler's gonna die. Brendan, don't let the viewers down here. Floating 2 mana. Tyler has tapped out. Brendan hung on to find a way to win. Though the life gain from Batterskull actually going to be a problem here. He's at 26. So I take it back. He's going to be able to make a 20-20, but that's likely just not going to be enough because of the life gain from Batterskull. Thespian Stage making a 20-20. Revoker coming down, likely going to be naming Knight of the Reliquary. But there's even artifact blockers, so even if somehow another Sajiri step entered the equation, it wouldn't matter. We're coming up on the 40-minute mark with this game number 1. And a good 15 minutes of it could have been saved. I mean, he was able to make the 20-20, but the life gain from Batterskull preventing it from being a one-hit, one-kill. We've got a Green Sun Zenith. X equals 1 was attempted. It's going to end up being X equals 0, and that is going to do it. This one likely going to end up a 1-0 for Tyler. Very possible Brendan does eke out a game number 2 in the allotted time and ends up with a draw. We'll see what happens, but now Tyler's completely aware of this Merit Lage package in the Maverick build. Not all of them choose to run that. It was really quite the craze a little while ago prior to Oko being all over the place. I think once Oko entered the meta, Merit Lage 6 really substantially less attractive. Food being able to put you out of a single hit death going to 23 is everything when you're facing down 20/20s. Gives you time to untap and then turn that Dark Depths into a 3/3 Elk, which is substantially easier to handle. Any type of presence on your board is going to be able to hold off long enough for Oko to stabilize there, and these builds often not having access to Life from the Loam compared to the kind of Chalice of the Void centered builds. Part of our ELD Legacy Open, round number 2. These early tables, often very wild deck choices. Sometimes those decks will continue on with a winning record toward the later rounds of the tournament, but certainly a largest variety in decks toward the beginning of the tournament. Maverick deck is very cool to catch on camera, and we did actually get to see what it's capable of with that Dark Depths play with Merit Lage. Birds of Paradise, Green Sun, Zenith, and grabbing the Elvish Reclaimer. Brendan may have a little bit of a fire lit under him here. He's got the Mother of Runes. That gets Swords to Plowshared. So the bird was actually allowed to stick around. And Rashad Port not really going to be stellar here. Phyrexian Revoker, that is going to shut off this Elvish Reclaimer. And that may just be enough to buy him the time that he needs. Knight of the Reliquary, nope. Very interesting situation here. We got a Wasteland taking out Rashad Port, and now Knight of the Reliquary can also pull the combo together. An additional Wasteland for Stoneforge Mystic. Oh, and I think Brendan's got to feel pretty good about that. That Wasteland currently tapped down. It's a little bit of an opening here. Oh, Wastelanding the Wasteland. And he's got a decision to get aggro or to try and pull together the combo. And he's going to get aggro. Takes the 6. I feel like it should be more than 6, right? Elvish Reclaimer, 3. Shouldn't Knight of the Reliquary be 5? Oh, it's 8. I just can't do math. You can tell we do these in one take. My mistakes end up on the air as well. 8 damage. So just a couple of turns, and this will be a wrap. This can get an additional point of damage in there. Again, sending. We've got a fetch. After blocks. Tyler down to 3. Will they have enough time for game number 3? Will this JIT be enough to... I mean, almost certainly not enough to hold this off through 5 turns. Flicker Wisp just being cast. And we're going to see Stoneforge Mystic likely fetching up a Batterskull. And 2 must-block creatures. At just 3 life, both of these absolutely must be blocked. Of course, Swords to Plowshares won't really get rid of a blocker here. So just going to go ahead and swing. And we're going to see a couple of creatures at least dying. This would be a heck of a time for a Tormod script. Getting rid of all of those lands would have just nuked Brendan's entire board, but that is not to be. Three mana. And I believe that one in the middle of the board is being on turns. At this point, Tyler just hoping to survive. It's turn 2. He's going to need to get down 2 blockers on his next turn, or a blocker plus a swords. This is turn number 3. And that's going to do it. So Brendan does pick up game number 2. And this match ends up being a draw. A little bit of a lesson to be learned there. It seemed like Brendan's deck may have been favored if they were able to play some more games, but just a lot of time sunk into that game number 1. Ultimately a losing effort as that Batterskull made sure that Merit Lage wasn't able to take care of things even if he did arrive. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.